Hi, welcome to CultivAsian Asians in Love podcast number 3. Thank you for listening to this today. Today we're gonna be talking about podcast number 4.
No, it's three. It is three.
Wait,
Three.
It is
wait,
three. Let's
my
fuck up
bad,
the
my
intro at
bad.
least once. Yeah, you're bad.
Hi, welcome to CultivAsian Asians in Love podcast number 3. Thank you for joining us today. Today our topic is going to be attachment styles. Woo! It's a big topic, and we're going to talk about how it affects our friendships, our relationships, and how our parents' relationship has affected it. And we all took a quiz and that told us our attachment styles. So we'll discuss that as well. I'm Abbie. I'm a third year here at UCLA. I'm majoring in economics and psych, and I am Taiwanese Chinese.
Yay. Hi, my name is Nora. I'm a first year human bio and society major, and I'm Chinese Taiwanese.
My name is Ethan. I am Taiwanese American, and I'm soon to be psych. I mean, soc, but right now I'm education.
And I'm Chelsea. I'm a third year physiology major, and I'm Filipino.
Yep. So as I said, we took a quiz that tells us our attachment styles, and basically there's 4 types from this quiz. The first is disorganized, kind of a combination of avoidant and anxious. And I think avoidant anxious is pretty common. Like I think people usually know. The second one is just avoidant. Third is ambivalent, which is anxious. And then the fourth one is secure, which is what we all strive to be. So yeah. I guess I'll go first with the results of my quiz. They give you like a percentage, but I'm just gonna go in order of what like most to least that I had. Um, the most I had was disorganized, the second avoidant, third secure, and then fourth anxious slash ambivalent.
Oh. My overall, I was ambivalent, and it's from least to most.
Most to least.
Most to least. So then it
Mhm.
was like 30% ambivalent, 25% disorganized, 23% secure, and then 20% avoidance.
Mine was mostly ambivalent, although it was very like I almost had a 25% split across all of them. So
Whoa.
it was like 28% ambivalent, 26% disorganized, 23 avoidant, and 22 secure. So like roughly equal, but like a little bit more towards the ambivalent side. Like,
Okay, my most was 29% avoidant, 26% ambivalent, 22% disorganized, and 21% secure. So secure is my last.
Yay.
Um,
All of us
wait,
have
this is
secure
cool.
basically
Yeah,
third or fourth.
Yeah.
yeah. Which is why I wanted to get Marcelo because he
well,
had
we're all
secure number one.
insecure.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's
Wow.
interesting.
This
Wait, Marcelo,
this
finish
man's
your
right here, but
freaking
he's in a
meeting.
meeting right now. So, but yeah, I was very surprised, or not surprised, but like I feel like it would have been a really good
Good for
spread.
him.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But even so, I feel like we have a variety among ourselves. So
Yeah.
yes.
Like mostly anxious or mostly avoidant.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys think it's accurate?
Yeah, I think it is relatively accurate.
Like you're
Because,
mostly anxious, you think?
yeah, because I feel like I don't avoid people very much. So, like, wait, what is disorganized
It's like a
mean?
combination of like anxious and um avoidant.
If you scroll down in the results, like it shows characteristics of it.
Oh, hey, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know
like a really
that.
interesting like
Yeah.
test.
That's cool.
But I feel like my thing is like I'm not sure if it's like one of those horoscope things where like if I read all like because I read the ones for ambivalent and I was like, oh yeah, I can see that. But I'm not sure if it's like one of those things where I would read any of them and then I'd be like, oh yeah, I can
Mm.
see that. But I do agree with the ones that it gave for ambivalent. So yeah.
What does
Um,
it say for ambivalent?
yeah.
What is that one like?
The things that resonated most for me were you have a constant need to connect or be close to your partner, and then you feel anxious or insecure when your partner is absent. Um, and then, two of them that fit really well together, I feel like were you might feel unlovable or undeserving of love, so you try to please others with little thought for your own
Mhm.
needs. But then
Yeah.
paired with that is when you give too much, you feel resentful when it's not appreciated or reciprocated. I was like,
Ooh,
oh,
Yeah.
those two
Yeah.
like fit really well together.
interesting.
I think
Yeah, I
all of them
agree
are
with
like
that.
stem from you think you don't deserve it. Because for like
Yeah.
avoidant, like you don't think you deserve it, so you just don't even like engage.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No.
one of mine says like you want to be in a close relationship, yet you also fear being hurt, so you avoid emotional connection.
Yeah.
That one I
Oh.
really relate to.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I also really relate to just like in history, like I guess giving time in relationships. I feel like I'm pretty secure in friendships, although like I can be avoidant, I think. But like with disorganized, it's kind of like you push and pull a lot. Um, and I think for that, like also my avoidance, it's like I only give time to people that I couldn't see myself dating, if that makes sense, because
Ooh,
like I can predict the outcome, which is like it won't work, you know?
interesting.
So I just wanted to read a couple of the ones from Secure.
Mhm.
It says, feel lovable, cared for, and respected, can address problems to repair and resolve conflicts, able to form connections and trust others, self-aware. So it was like, yeah, this was like very, yeah, um, equally comfortable with close connection, mutual dependence, or independence. I was like, wow. I feel like that's,
I can't be independent.
No self-sabotage. Wow.
yeah,
Oh.
that's crazy.
Yeah, actually crazy. Like could you read like the disorganized description if anyone has it?
Disorganized closeness can induce panic or activate distancing for safety, crave intimacy while appearing to avoid it, confusion and ambivalence about relationships, waiting to be rejected or hurt, difficulty self-soothing and also co-regulating, constant vigilance for danger or shifts in mood, inability to express needs. Yikes. Okay. I relate to some of those.
Yay.
No.
I think
Yeah.
it's crazy that people don't like prepare for the worst in relationships.
Yeah,
But like
that was one
in
of
a
the
healthy one,
questions.
you shouldn't.
I
Yeah.
get scared when I start getting hopeful about people. When I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, me
I think it's
too.
gonna be great if we're friends for life. And I go, what are you talking about? Like, no, like,
Yeah, I feel like I
no.
immediately like in my head, I'm like, oh, this is not gonna end well. Like be
Yeah,
prepared.
Mm.
probably why I'm single.
Chronically.
Yeah. Well, if you kind of didn't keep a friendship, like,
Yeah. But it's interesting though, because like I think I am very secure in friendships.
really?
Yeah, but I just get avoidant, but
Oh.
sometimes it's just like I need my space and my alone time. So I
Mm.
kind of just like shut down. And I've learned to kind of be like, hey, like, can you just like leave me alone in like a nice way, you know? Or if I go like MIA, like my friends definitely understand.
So do you think like your attachment style only applies to you in relationships then?
I think it definitely
Like your
jumps
result?
out. Yeah, in
Mm.
relationships, for sure. Like I don't think I'm anxious about relationships ever until it's like a relationship. Otherwise, I'm gonna avoid it,
Oh.
I think.
Hey, that's pretty good then. I think I'm anxious
Yeah.
about every relationship in my life in some way or another. At
Yeah,
least,
Guess what?
a
I
lot of
secured
people are
special
anxious
guest.
about friends. Yeah.
what?
I said a
I
lot of people
secured our
are
Special
special
guest?
guest. Our
Oh,
secure friend. Our secure
Our
friend.
secure
yeah, our
attachment.
really
secure
exciting.
model.
It
Okay.
should be noted that Marcel is the
Yes.
only one that's not Asian and he has the healthiest
Yeah, yeah.
attachment
Or we
style.
can join
Whoa.
from there if you want.
Is there a
Oh, wow.
correlation? There probably is.
You want me to text you or wait?
Probably.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I'll sort this out
No,
while you guys keep talking.
we'll cut this out. Don't worry about it.
I think it probably stems from like this typical Asian parents who like don't
mm.
actually like each other, but they're together.
And I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like my parents, it's not that my parents don't like each other, my parents don't like me. Or like I always felt like one of my parents liked me less or only liked me based off of like if I was presenting good quality behavior. Like,
The anxious.
yeah, so I think that's like the root of a lot of that.
I think my
Like
avoidant,
just
yeah,
like
from
feeling
parents.
like the eager to please Asian
Mm,
mindset.
I'm like the avoidant type, so I'm like, I don't even care at this point what you
Mm,
think, because I'm like, I don't think there's any place I could reach to like fully please, so I just don't care.
no, yeah, I like oscillate between like
Yeah,
attempting to not care and then caring so much that like I
right.
like cry at the first sign of like rejection, and I'm like, no, that's not okay. Like, pick yourself back up. Like, special
Oh,
guest.
our
Okay,
secure
Marcelo, you want to
attachments.
briefly introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Marcelo, and I am a first year PhD student in education here with Ethan. Nice to meet
And
y'all.
I just going over his results, he had 41% secure, 20% ambivalent, 15%
Okay.
disorganized, and 22% avoidant. So
Oh,
Very ideal.
I didn't
that's
actually know that
ideal.
Ethan was doing this for a podcast. Ethan, I thought you were just
Talking.
yes. No, I thought he was quizzing me earlier, and I didn't know that this was for this.
Oh, just like for fun. That's okay. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you, Nora.
the secure model for all of
So what
us.
does this entail?
Hmm?
so like
What?
it's like, where do you think it comes from? Why are you so
Yeah.
secure in
Yeah.
relationships?
Why are you happy?
Why am I happy? I wouldn't
What's
say
the secret to
that.
happiness?
I don't think anyone is happy.
It's a secret to the secure attachment.
To being secure.
Yeah. There
Okay, well, I'd like to preface first that like it's not like I have a plethora of data points of relationships behind me. I have like maybe at most, if you're being generous, 3. And
you
um
go.
like
0.
Sorry?
Me too, 0.
0. You're doing much better.
um how did I feel secure? I felt like I don't know, like I don't think I would have chosen them as a partner or even as like gone on more than X amount of dates had I not felt like I could just be myself. And maybe I have this feeling in my head that I have bigger fish to fry than to deal with some dude's feelings and issues. And if like too many of those pop up, yeah, of course, I just I need to be clear about my boundaries and things like that. And try my best. Yeah, that's
So would you say that it comes from like a kind of combination of being like selective with who you um are in a relationship with, as well as like your upbringing or all those environmental factors?
sure. Like maybe like if we're taking the perspective of like dating apps, Ethan, like I don't think I'd ever swipe on anyone who I get even the inkest like the smallest amount of feeling that they might be bonkers. Like if they say something, and I've seen this so many times, maybe you all have too, of like, um, oh, I love it when my therapist tells me I'm crazy or something like that.
Oh.
Like I think that's like,
Stay
okay,
away.
yeah, that's not for me. It's like I don't have time for people like that. But yeah, so I think there is selectivity. Yeah.
I think
What
like
about you all?
secure attracts secure. Like you said, you wouldn't even like give time of day to those people. Um, and they're most likely not secure. And then like another secure person would probably only want to be with a secure person. Because for me, like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like saving it, my like dating a secure person, because I feel like I would just not meet their needs at all. But then that's bad, because then it's like who's left? Like people who aren't secure. So then it's like
Yeah.
feeding to the fire. It's like I wish that I wasn't like that, but
Yeah.
Abby, why do you feel like you can't meet someone's needs, at least even in this hypothetical situation?
just like if I'm like approached by someone that I know who's like really just like a really upstanding person and like I guess like very secure like husband, if you will, like that type. I
Like
just
husband
feel
material,
huh?
like husband material kind of
Yeah, like
sense, like
husband material. I'm
characteristics.
kind of like, oh, like I better stay away from you for you, if that makes sense. Because I think like it took me a little bit of time to be aware about it for sure. Like I would say from like 18, like from up until like honestly this year, maybe I didn't really reflect on like the mistakes that I made in past things, and I'd kind of like blame the other person. But there like comes to a point where there's like patterns, and I'm like, oh, like it is me. So then I'm trying to work on those things before I am with someone who is like very secure, if that makes sense.
Mm.
It does to me. Yeah, I felt similar ways in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were right way things to feel. But I do remember feeling those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's ever a correct way to feel.
I mean,
Do
like,
you,
it gets better, right? Like, you can sort of fix this. Like, I wish Marcel could have taken this test when he was like 19, and then we could like compare
Yeah.
results now, like so that we can know like the chart of growth,
Yeah.
And terrible.
yeah, I mean, I guess like speaking about, I don't want to like ruin the X episode if it gets shot, but like, do you think that your previous like relationships have dictated that? Because we were speaking about one of Marcel's previous relationships that was very turbulent, if you will.
Which one?
Do you want me to start
He's
dropping
he's
names?
had too many boyfriends. He's had too many boyfriends. He said, which one?
No.
Wait,
No,
Leave some for the
no,
rest of
don't
us.
twist the words.
Here, you want to mute your mic real quick, Marcelo?
Mute my. Oh, sure.
Oh, because we can't name drop? That's okay. We gotta get like a pro lip reader. What do you think he's saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying
Just
to
put
guess.
captions.
I'm trying to
Edit in
guess.
captions.
Okay, yeah. So okay, Marcelo, like do you think that like your part of your security comes from like your very turbulent relationship that you experience?
Part of my security. Oh, I get it. Honestly, sure. Yeah. Like,
Really?
I feel there's some sense of like, and I'll be honest, I got in this turbulent relation that Ethan talks about. It was like over like a year and a half. And it was turbulent in like the high highs, low lows, emotional aspects of the both of us. I got into this relationship primarily from like the mindset of I want to practice to be in a better relationship in the future, and it ended up being longer. Now that it's over, yeah, honestly, I look back at my past self, not his, but my past self, and I look at pictures, I'm like, how the f did I continue being with this person? This person had so many red flags. Like, I just would like, I would say, oh, it's okay. I do that thing where like, he will change. He's fixable. He needs like, start treating people like projects. And it kind of feels, at least for me, it felt good to be like, oh, like from a person who didn't always feel like I had maybe, I don't know, maybe like that secure relationship, that I would say the positive characteristics associated with the secure relationship style, for someone who is way worse to be like, oh my gosh, like you're so good at this, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that like uplifted me a little. And now like past that, I'm like, fuck no, I would never do what I did with this person ever again. Like it'd be just like, yeah. But I mean, it doesn't take like a whole relationship, I think. Like I'm sure all of you have like encounters that you'd be like, oh my gosh, I will never have an encounter like this with anyone ever again, like either out of self-respect or out of just loathing for the other person, or like, what do you all feel about that?
I have a question to everybody. And the question would go something like, do you think that you have to fix yourself before you enter a relationship? Because I think in my mind, I've always conceptualized a relationship as a place where I could, I guess, fix myself during, but then it didn't work out. So I don't know. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
No, I don't agree with like, well, I agree with the idea that I need to like work on myself, and like I need to be capable of being my own person before I can be a person in a relationship with another person. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of wrong to use people to like further yourself as a person, because like if there's somebody who's looking for a genuine connection and you're just like, and you'll be my practice kiss, like that's kind of mean. Like, I don't want to do that to you, like, because then I leave you as a hurt person, and then I leave feeling like a piece of shit because I used somebody, right? Like, so
I remember
yeah.
my like middle school boyfriend. So funny. Never told him that I liked him. I told, I'm like, is this like, I'm like, have I just been avoidant my whole life, I guess. But it's like also middle school, but I had like my friend tell his friend that I liked him, and then he had his friend tell my friend to tell me that he liked me back. And then it was like those middle school relationships. And then I remember I ended it and I was like, it was like an experiment, which is funny because like you were saying that, Nora, like it's like wrong to use people for that. And I'm like obviously as like a 12-year-old, you're not really thinking about the nuances of a relationship or anything, but yeah, people like definitely do that. And as far as your question, Ethan, I feel like if it's the right person, like you shouldn't feel like you need to fix yourself. So to fix yourself, no, but like to improve yourself, you should want to like both like improve together.
I have like kind of mixed feel because like I agree with what you said. Like I feel like you should wanna whoever you're with, you should wanna like improve with them. Like both of you guys helping to improve each other in your relationship. And then also like saying like, oh, you need to love yourself, like you need to fix yourself before you get in a relationship. I kind of like it just feels like, the people with mental health issues, like, are you saying they shouldn't be in relationships? Like that's probably not what it's implying, but that's what it sounds like. So I do agree. Like I don't think like what Abbie and Nora said, like I don't think like there are people that use each other, like use other people to like, I don't know, practice or whatever, but then at the same time, like I don't know, I guess it kind of depends on like why you are improving yourself too. Like in what sense, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, I
Ethan,
feel like it's okay to like, I think the using people, there's like a context where it's okay if it's like a mutual thing, and like if somebody was like, oh, date me and we'll both be like each other's like first like practice, like let's not take it too seriously. I feel like that's like chill. So like it's not that you can like never have like a practice boyfriend or something like that. But like you just have to like talk about it, I guess.
and I don't think like I think there would be very few people in the world who would go like, oh, the only reason I continue choosing to see this person once a week, twice a week, whatever, is because I'm using them. Like maybe you use that as an excuse in your mind, like to see them the first time, or to say yes to like, oh, he asked me to be my girlfriend, boyfriend. I'll say yes because I want to test the waters. But like that's like if we put it in a vacuum, sure, but like what about all the other times that we decided to see this person? What about like is there like an absence of enjoyment period? Like I don't think so. Like I think there's a hedonistic aspect of this too. Um, but Ethan, I don't agree. Like I don't think that I personally wouldn't wait to be in a relationship to try to um progress in my life in ways that I deem positive. Why do you think that?
Wait, could you rephrase your answer, the last part of your answer and your question again?
Yeah. So I interpreted your question to like what I'm recalling from your question was you had this first part preface that was like, I wait until, and correct me if I'm wrong, I wait until I'm in a relationship to use that space to improve myself. And I was asking you, why do you feel that way?
Oh, I mean, because nothing is like being in a relationship except being in a relationship.
Oh, are you saying
Right?
like you can't improve yourself in the context unless you're in the context? Like you
Yeah,
can't be like a good
like
friend unless you have friends. Okay.
right,
That's
like how are
true.
you gonna get better at like
Mm.
I'm trying to make a physical comparison. Okay, like for example, how would you get better at sex without having sex?
Oh,
Right? Like are you just gonna like
do I have to edit that?
hypothesize
Do we have to cut this
about
out?
having
Yeah, wait, well,
No, I mean
yeah, I
I
need
mean it could be
to.
anything. Like how do you get better at playing basketball without playing basketball? You know?
Okay,
No,
okay,
Like
okay.
those
you could be doing
comparisons
all
don't
these,
work.
you know.
No, those comparisons don't work
Oh,
because
oh,
A, like if
fight.
you can you can practice being a good friend to someone without having friends. Let's use that example. Like, how can you practice being a good friend to someone when you're in a new area without any friends? Like, simple. You like practice loving yourself. Like you practice like knowing how to deal with your own issues when they come so that you don't feel like whenever you talk about your problems, you feel like you're unloading. Like you deal with like the inner turmoils that you grew up with, and then they don't pop up in your relationships as something negative and anxiety. Like I think there's plenty of ways, and that translates to both like sex life and relationship life from my perspective. Like I think that you can work on yourself, and the working on yourself does make you better in every aspect of life.
Do you guys have any thoughts? Would you guys agree?
I'd agree with that, yeah.
I feel like both sides are like valid. Like maybe, I don't know, it depends on like your learning style. If you're like a
Yeah.
visual like contact learner, or if you're like or you can like sort of figure it out by yourself. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I feel like you need to just like be self-aware before you get into a relationship, and like that self-awareness inevitably will lead to self-improvement.
Mm.
Like on your own, you should be just doing that on your own. Not
I think,
expecting it to be fixed from someone else.
yeah. I think in general, also just like learning how to be alone.
Yeah.
Like, because
I gotta work on that.
I know a lot of people who are in relationships mainly because they don't know how to be alone. Like after they get out of a relationship, they immediately get into a new one. And I feel like if they learn how to be secure on their own, like that would really like solve a lot of problems in relationships, in my opinion.
What are the
Yeah.
struggles you think of learning how to do that, Chelsea?
I mean, I don't know. I've never been in a relationship, so I don't know what that's like, but I think like from what I see, like from people I know, I think when you become codependent on someone, like even if that relationship ends up being toxic or like it's just a very unhealthy setting that you're putting yourself in, like they won't take themselves out of it because they're scared. They're more scared of the fact to be alone than the fact that they're in this toxic environment with someone.
Mm.
So I think like the attachment style could also like, I don't know, maybe that also relates to ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, like learning how to be secure with yourself first.
I've
Yeah.
heard, doesn't it like have to do with our parents too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about that. Yeah, because we were like, oh, I think Ethan was like, oh, it's funny how Marcelo's like the only secure one. He's also the only one who's not Asian. And then I was like, oh, probably has to do with like the typical Asian parents who don't like each other but stay together for the sake of their kids.
I agree.
Yeah. Like don't
Because
like
like
have you guys seen your parents like hug or kiss?
barely.
I don't think I've seen my parents kiss or hug.
Yeah, it's definitely affected how I view relationships. I
Yeah.
think we talked about it in the single episode, but
I
yeah.
think we also
Yeah.
talked about it a little bit in the red flags one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it's like a cultural thing. Like they don't like say I love you, but like
Mhm.
they show it. But it's funny because I think about it and I'm like, my dad's never said I love you to me, and I've never said it to him.
Oh, me
But it's
either.
like he knows. And like I know that he does. But like
I
that
think
would
it is like a
definitely
cultural
affect.
thing.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. But I remember like I was with um like this guy, like the like who I'd been talking to for like a year. And then my dad visited me like the next day. And then I was like, wow, like I just feel like it makes sense why my relationships are the way they are. Because my dad, like, I have to like hold the door for him. I have to like speak for him, you know. We like when we saw each other, he like patted my shoulder. And when I left for college, he like shook my hand.
Oh,
But it's like I know he loves me, but it definitely has affected like how I view intimacy. Like I'm so
Yeah.
of
scared of
course,
it.
yes.
Yeah. And like a physical touch, I know that's my love language, but for me to execute it and actually
Oh
do
my
it,
God, wait, me too.
physical, yeah.
Yeah, but
For me
it's
to
like so
actually do
hard to
it,
like
like
start it.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Because my
Oh
parents
yeah, I
also are
like
really not like that at all.
yeah,
So
not at
yeah.
all.
I feel like I can't start any like physical interaction
yeah.
because I'm like afraid of like being rejected by it. Because like I've like tried to like hug my dad before and he'll be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you
They're
want
like,
something?"
what?
Like, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, "What if I just wanted to hang?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"You have homework?" And I'm like, "Okay, I guess we'll go." Like,
And it's funny because like I think even if my dad did say I love you or like hug me, I'd be so uncomfortable. I'd be like, stop doing all that. I'd be like, don't do too much now. But
then I'd be
yeah,
like, "Are you dying? Like, is something wrong? Like, do we need to talk?"
I'm like, am I gonna shake like hands on the deathbed? Like, all right.
Not for
Like, no, like I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, will I say it then? Like, I have to. But it's just funny.
ooh.
Yeah.
Is it an immigrant thing, do you think? Are your
I think
parents
it's probably an
I think
immigrants?
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Marcelo, your parents are immigrants.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
normal, you're secure.
Well, to be honest, my parents started off really bad, but
Yeah.
like there was process to a change. Yeah.
But
You
okay,
wait, so
so
you're saying your
speaking,
parents like changed?
Yes. Yes.
Like in the way they treated you or each other?
Um, I would say my parents to each other, I've never seen them like kiss or make out or anything like that. I
Ugh,
don't
gross.
even think I've seen them hug.
Yeah.
Like I yeah, actually I don't think so. But um maybe like kind of similar. Like I know that they have their own special kind of communication language for loving themselves.
Mhm.
They like each other's presences. But yeah, Nora, my parents were awful when they first came here. And it took a while and it was a community effort. And by
Community.
community, I mean by like me and them and a little bit of my brother for all of us to harmonize a little more. Yeah. Have you all ever thought about like, I know one thing that Ethan and I have sometimes talked about is like, Ethan, you've told me that challenging your parents is something that's like, for you is a big cultural no-no, right?
Never.
No.
Never.
Absolutely not.
Well, when I was young, when I challenged my parents, they kicked me out of the house.
Yeah.
I was like, they were like, "Okay, you don't want to live in the house under the rules, then you don't get to live in the
Yeah.
house. Bye." I was
So
like
real.
7.
Gosh.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Cool
Yeah.
guys, like there's consequences. I hear you. I'm gonna shut
Yeah.
up." Like,
It's definitely related because I think one of my biggest fears, like of getting to a relationship, like the specific fear is just like fear of being seen and like perceived and like vulnerable and like known. Cause like with my parents, they like don't know me, you know. I think a lot of Asian parents don't really like connect with their kids like at all on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and so if I haven't like had someone kind of besides friends, like I'm comfortable with friends, but like in such an intimate way, like seeing me like that and like knowing me, it's like so uncomfortable. Because I'm okay with like my parents not like knowing like the real me. Like I'm fine if it makes them happy, you know.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have a good connection with like one of my parents. Like my mom and I are really close and really good. And my mom has like a much more like Americanized way of parenting, and my dad is much more Asian and like he's very stiff. And then my mom is much more like, yeah, I want to talk about my life. Like I want to hear about yours too. So it's like I can like be myself around one of my parents to a certain extent and then just not the other one. And then we're just like, and I think it caused like a even bigger like drift between the two of us because I'm like, why can't you act like mom sometimes, bro? Like, how are you guys married?
I feel that's the thing with like Asian parents, especially because like I feel because like I hang out with my family pretty often and people think that we're close, but I don't feel emotionally close to either of my parents. Like I feel like they don't know a single thing about me. Like what they know like the stuff that I tell them, like my major, I'm going to UCLA, like stuff like that. But other than that, like I feel like they don't really know my thoughts or like my real personality. And then I feel like in friendships and then like relationships when I get to one in the future eventually, like it's just I feel like it'll be really hard for me to open up because even in friendships, I'm like I was answering the attachment styles questions, like thinking about my friendships, and like even with friendships, it's really hard for me to open up to people or just like talk about my feelings and like what I think in general. And like I'm pretty sure it has to do with my relationship with my parents. Because even though like I'm close with them, I'm not like I don't feel close with them. So yeah.
Also, one thing, like with boundaries, because Marcelo, like I feel like being secure, you need to have boundaries. Like it's a given. But like growing up, if like my dad would always be like, oh, like just don't like say like how you actually feel. Like just let mom do whatever. Like basically just let her do it. Like don't say anything. So like now I have like a really hard time setting boundaries. And when I first came like to college and like left the home, I think it was like the combination of them being super protective and also like teaching to not have boundaries. I feel like I just get like find myself interacting with like the worst type of people ever and just like not doing anything about it. Or like not even realizing that like I had a say, if that makes sense.
Might come across as like a challenging question, but I mean it from like a place of like sincere, like authentic interest and like compassion, for all of you. Like, have you ever
Okay.
felt like a moral obligation to like want to value your own, like, I feel like there's like this separation between like how parents, how the relationship with parents can affect relationships in the future. Have you ever felt like a moral obligation to be like, no, like I want like a different type of future, so I demand that like, internally at least, like I should have like a positive relationship with you, mom, or you, dad, or whoever.
I think like because we kind of talked about this earlier, but like I feel like my parents don't really like each other in a romantic way. So I feel like that just makes me want the complete opposite in a relationship and who I eventually marry in the future. Like I want someone who like I will never fall out of love with. Like I feel like that's the complete opposite of what my parents have. So I think like yeah, it's like kind of like I feel obligated to have what they don't have, like what they never had. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I worry a lot about my future relationship with them because like I love my parents so much and like everything they've ever said or done like matters so much to me like and they're also place a great importance on family. So I get frustrated the way that like I feel like I can't connect with my parents sometimes because I'm like no like this has to happen for like our continued happiness, like for me to keep meeting these familiar expectations that we have as a family. I was like, you can't place those on me, but not like contribute. Like I like don't really connect with my dad, and my mom would be like, well, you have to try harder. And I was like, well, he doesn't try to connect with me either. So I don't understand. Like, and I don't want to act that way ever with other relationships in my life. Like and if I have children one day, like I don't ever want to be like a distant parent like that. And I think it shows itself in the way like I attach really heavily to all my friends.
I think I'm the same with Chelsea and Nora. It's like And my sister too, she's engaged. She's
Oh,
20, she got engaged at 23, I
yay.
think, or 22, first boyfriend.
Oh,
Wow.
And she was like,
no,
Congrats,
that's my
Nora.
brother.
yeah. And then she was like, I just feel like I don't care about anything else. This is because my parents didn't really approve, and she was like, well, they don't even realize that this is what I like all like this is what I want. And like growing up, I thought it was like everyone, a lot of people want to be moms, some people don't, but like I like want to be a mom so bad, I think, because like Nora was saying, I want to like do better. So I feel like it might be like out of spite. And like literally like on The Sims, I have 7 kids. Like
I love The Sims.
You're
yeah, I
literally
literally have
me.
I've been Sims.
All my Sims gameplay, people build houses, people do this. I
Me
build
too.
perfect
No, I'm just a
families.
homemaker.
I
Me
build perfect
too. I
families
just
and I
like
build
the
them perfect
people.
houses and then I
Yeah.
leave it alone and then I drop it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
and then
don't leave
I
my
start
house.
over.
Like I have my 7 kids,
So
like I'm
bad.
busy.
Oh yeah, it's so
Oh,
bad.
Yeah. That's for like
No,
the moral obligation part. I've tried like with my parents to especially my mom, because my dad, it's like I just don't even think I could try. Like I think we have an understanding, but with my mom, like we've gotten to like huge fights. And it's always like me being like, why can't like do you even like love me? Like do you even like how like I remember like I was like, how do you like love me if you don't even know me? Or I was like, how do you have a kid and not even want to get to know her? Um, and she'll like hear these things and she'll be like, and then she'll like put it back on me, you know. When you're a mom, you understand
mm,
stuff like that. And my dad will be like, don't talk to her like that, basically. So, because it's like challenging her in a way. Um, so yeah, I have the moral obligation. Within the future, I'm gonna
well,
try,
yeah.
but with them, I think it's kind of
Yeah, I think my parents stress like physical sacrifice more than like or like physical things that they've provided more than like an
Yeah.
emotional like striving for an emotional connection. They'll be like, okay, well like sure, like we don't like talk or like hug all the time, but like I fed you, I clothed you, I bathed you, you're going to this school
mm,
because I provided you all these opportunities. Like I've done it like enough of what I needed to do. Like at least that's how my dad views it. I think he's
and it is a
like
privilege for us to like be talking
yeah,
about this.
and
Yeah.
I always acknowledge that. I'm always like, yes, I'm like grateful, but like I don't know who you are and you don't know who I am. Like as far as
Yeah,
you're
I don't know how to like
concerned.
return it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, like
Besides my achievements, I don't know how to return it.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a
like as
lot of
far as my
immigrant
dad's
parents are like
concerned, I
that.
still like
Yeah,
Minecraft roleplay videos. Like
Oh,
I don't think he knows what I'm interested in.
yeah.
yeah.
Once he took me to see a BTS movie though. I think
Oh,
that's
that's
it.
cute.
In like my freshman year of high, that's the last time he ever expressed like any interest in something
I think
I
the only
liked.
time me and my dad hung out alone, I like spilled the popcorn twice. And he was like,
No,
okay, I'm not getting you another one.
my dad drove me back to college. It was so awkward. I had to text my mom and my brother for like help on things to say. Like it was like, hey
Bad day.
guys, like what do I say to dad? I already asked him about work.
No,
Like
like,
And
yeah,
I just talk
usually.
about politics because like I know
Oh,
he's into it, so I'm like,
oh,
whatever.
oh, like my dad isn't really invested in politics. He'll just be like, Are you going to any of those protests?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You shouldn't. You might get in trouble." I'm like, "Hey, Dad, love you."
Yeah, be safe, take care of
And then he doesn't
yourself.
say it back.
I would say to him though,
I go like, "Love you, Dad," and he's like,
dude, it's bad.
"Yeah."
I don't say I love you to my friends like ever.
Oh,
oh,
I
me
say I
either.
love you to many of my friends.
You
I think
do, or
I
you
I
like
don't.
have like
over
trouble
it's a
saying
really
reciprocate.
good
it.
habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
I know trouble
always
saying it too.
You see
like
it?
I say love you all the time. Like I'll hang up the phone and be like, love you, like,
That's so
and
good.
then like but I think the problem is that like I expect to start hearing it back after a
Yeah.
certain point, and if I don't hear it back, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm weird. Oh my God, they don't like me. Oh my God. So like, I don't think it's very good. I also think that's a bad boundary. Like it's a lack of boundaries to be like, oh, I love you all the time to
I
people,
love
because like,
you. Yeah.
then you're like losing your definition of like love, and I think I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Like I used to throw around like love so casually, and now like I almost never say love because I realize that like love is like a very intimate and powerful word. And like to be honest, I don't love a lot of people, and I don't think I need to, right? And like I can say like the people I love is probably like limited to like less than like one hand, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. I would never.
Yeah, like some of my friends say, and I don't say it back, but they know. I'm like, they know. But I am working on it. Like I'm trying. I'm
Is there
trying.
like a reason you feel like you can't say it back? Is it just like,
Probably just like never hearing it or never
yeah,
saying it. So it's
I don't,
like,
I
Yeah,
don't know. I just
be
like
honest.
naturally learned to
Um,
overcompensate.
like Abby, yeah, I think if I like remember back to my college days, like sometime in that time, um I think my mom, like first maybe third year of college, she like called me, and I didn't really talk to my parents that much at this time. Maybe like I'd call them once a month, once every month and a half, if even. I remember my mom called me and I was like, oh, this person. I usually just like put it on voicemail, but I picked it up. And we talked about who knows what. And at the end, she was like, love you. And I was still at this stage where I was like, I don't want to say this back to this person. So I didn't say anything. I remember her going, oh, I see. Like, oh, you
Wait,
you
you
wouldn't
didn't
say I
say it
love you.
back?
No, because I was this like against my parents, like ideologically. I mean,
Wow.
it's different now, but yeah, and I didn't say it back, but it was like a very first for me hearing that from my parents and having a moment where I heard that from my parents because I didn't remember them saying that through my childhood. And it did mark this like first where maybe I think it took maybe my parents said it a little more frequently. And now we end like our calls like saying I love you to each other. And though like I'm not saying that it's like causeless because we did that and now like oh everything is goody goody. But I do connect with that fact of like Nora, what you said, like parents believing, especially immigrant parents believing like, oh yeah, like we gave you house, food and clothing, and that's like your primary reason to love us. And also like not hearing it for a long time. I feel has also like definitely stunted my ability to express appreciation. And I wish looking at the people I know now that I could be as developed to express that appreciation for people I do appreciate more often because I feel like it's so nice to like give someone like a true felt hug, like to just be like, I've missed you, and just like no matter if they're friend, partner, whatever, like it's just really nice.
Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like I do definitely like struggle with like expressing appreciation and stuff like that. Like I'm quicker to say I'm sorry than I am to say thank you, and I think that's like also a facet of the way like my parents raised me. Like because they were like, yeah, like be grateful, just know that you're grateful, but like also every time you do anything wrong, like I demand an apology, but like also they never apologize. It's like weird.
Yeah. There's like 2 points I think I was thinking of. Me and my family can only have any like below surface level conversation if all of us are drunk. And we just recently started drinking together like this past summer because they like found out that I was drinking at college because I fell off a bunk bed and got a concussion when I was super drunk. So like that's how they knew that I drank. But we like started like drinking together kind of. And that
That's
like
what's
the
so
only time
fun.
we can like talk. I mean, it's still not like emotional, but it's like actually like hanging out, which it never feels like. Um, and I remember when we got drunk, my mom was like, with my dad sitting there, she was like, oh, if I didn't come to America, I would never like marry someone like your dad. And he was just sitting there, like
Oh, he just
he was
took
like
that?
like
Like
just
as a joke.
listening.
Well, did he like agree? Was he like, I would never marry your mom if I didn't come to the
I
US? Or
mean
was he
like
just like,
I truly like don't think they like each other. Like she gets
mm,
on his nerves a lot for sure.
That's my feelings
But
too.
in their weird way, like they have something. And I will say my mom did say I love you growing up, but it was very like transactional and like you have to. Like before that,
yeah.
like
Mm.
when me and my sister shared a room, we'd have like a script. And we would each say it, like every night we'd be like, okay, night night, buenas noches, I love you. I don't know why we said that. Like, we're not like, we don't speak Spanish, but we had to say it. And like I remember when my mom would pick me up from like elementary school, she'd be like, you have to like hug me. So the counselors see that like you like me. And then
That's
like
so funny.
if I wasn't like excited enough about seeing her, like enthusiastic, she'd be like, Annie did better, like at like the
There's
So
affection
much.
acting script. So it's just like so like I feel like my like just perception of affection is like very distorted now
Oh my god.
because of it. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, receiving a grade on your affection would
Yeah.
definitely distort my.
yeah, like next time like run a little faster.
Do you ever like grade yourself then? If you like hug somebody, you're like, am I like expressing enough? Like,
Yeah, no, it's like
would
so
mom say I did a good job?
right. No, literally, it's so funny.
Yeah, I think I agree
Oh,
with like my parents presenting like I love you sometimes as like an obligatory expression, like rather than like something like they felt like wanting to say to me. But I definitely, well, maybe because my parents didn't really pick me up from school and it was people other than them always. But I don't relate to my dad being like, that was a bad hug. Do better next time.
We're laughing. It is funny though, like as we get older.
Yeah, I mean, like when my parents kicked me out, it was like unfunny at the time, but now I'm like, that's kind of goofy, guys. Like you're kind of funny for that.
Oh,
Funny.
also like I don't, were you guys allowed to cry?
No,
my parents
Wow.
absolutely
didn't like it
not.
when I cried.
No,
Wait, what did
absolutely
you say?
not. Not even as
No.
a like
They
a
just don't
grown
like
person.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
like I don't want to see that. Or
Really? Like,
they'll like turn away. Like if I started crying when I was younger, they just
No,
leave.
my dad's a, oh, I'm not gonna give you something to cry about. Like I'll give you something actually to cry about. Like, what do you have to cry about? You're not starving, you have
Classic
a house,
line.
you live in LA,
Yeah.
like what are you crying about?
Yeah,
I
and
always
that's
thought
like
it was a male thing.
No, my dad
I
hates
think
when
it's
I
maybe a male and
cry.
Asian thing.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Male and
Because
like
like
my
North.
dad
yeah.
just, yeah, my dad's just anti-children shedding
Yeah.
tears because me and my brother both not allowed to cry.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like for me when I like when my like parents would hit me and then I would cry, then my dad would hit me for crying until I stopped
mm,
crying. So like
mm.
I have a really high pain tolerance now because like pain doesn't like physically hurt anymore.
Really conditioning.
Yeah,
Pavlovian conditioning. Like cry, like don't cry.
yeah, right. Like if you get hit until you don't cry anymore, then just like
Right. It's like
yeah, it doesn't
cry,
hurt
cry,
anymore.
cry. Oh,
Yeah,
you're not crying. Good job.
yeah, exactly.
that's why we must pay homage to all these things that we as children, we have to pay so much homage to us as children forms. Like we
Yeah.
really, children have such a capacity to learn how to do these things, and now we call it coping mechanisms, but like those were all survival things.
Wow.
Guys, thanks for the invite. I have to go now, but it was really fun talking to you all.
Bye.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
Goodbye, Marcy.
joining.
joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Dude, every time I think about my parents' punishments, I'm always like, those were goofy as hell, guys. Like, those were also some of them kind of mean. Like a
Yeah.
little.
They're so creative. Like they're so
No,
creative. I know
punishments?
like
Different
Question
shelter.
mark?
one of my friends, like she was Korean, and whenever she got in trouble, she'd have to do like the pose where
Oh,
you
no, yeah,
yeah.
you raise
And then
your
it's like
arms.
Japanese soldiers literally did that to like all the countries they invaded. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
learned like abuse is crazy.
They knew a good idea when
Wow.
they saw one.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's a good one. No, but I'm like, who thinks of that? And it's like, oh, that's a good one. Let me use it on my kids. Like,
Yeah, like let me use that on my 5-year-old.
no, like,
Like when
like
they like
what?
drop
Like,
something.
I'm like,
Wait, so did you guys all get like these like creative types of punishments? Because I didn't.
You just got hit? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I was hit with a
Like
they were
belt.
kind of creative.
boring. No.
yeah, I got the belt, I got the bamboo stick, I had
Oh,
the like yardstick, I had the back
Flipper,
scratcher, I had the thing with the
the back scratcher.
yeah, the back scratcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like but it was all like a variation of me getting it.
Yeah.
Like there was no like
okay, wait.
pose that I had to hit for like
Crazy,
you
crazy
know or
flex.
anything like
I've never been hit. I've only almost been hit
Oh,
because my
wow.
mom is anti-hitting children. My mom broke the cycle.
That's so
She was like,
good.
hitting doesn't work because the thing she got hit for was like never waking up on time, and she sleeps in to like 12 to this day. So she was like, it doesn't work, and I don't think it's
It
gonna
doesn't
work on you
work.
either. So my dad, he wanted to, bro. Like
No,
he
yeah, it's
literally hit
usually
your dad in
my
the face, and
dad.
and you're like, oh, he wants to beat the shit out of me. But like,
Actually, research shows that like hitting your kids, the only positive behavior it has is that you're more like immediately compliant.
yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't.
That's
Yeah,
the
I don't
only
think it's really
positive thing.
effective in the long
I
term
don't think
ever.
so
Like,
either. But
I
also
mean,
in the grand scheme of things, like we had it better than our parents because like hearing like what their parents
true.
did is even worse. And I'm like, okay, like
Both
can't
my
even
parents had military dads,
yeah.
like East Asian military. So they were like, make your bed at 6 a.m. in the morning, and
Very.
you know.
My dad still has a limp from like
Oh my
from my
God.
grandpa.
Oh my
But
God.
so those but like I mean it's not abuse in the cultural context.
I
That's
I don't know if
wild. That's a
that's
wild statement.
true.
That's a
I don't know
wild
if that's
statement.
true. I
like
would call my dad an
culturally.
abused child. I would consider my dad as having been abused to a certain
I will say
extent.
though that like I'm the younger sibling, and my
Mm,
older sister definitely got it worse.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not sure if that was
agree.
because she was a girl, because
That
guys are
too.
valued
I
higher.
think
Yeah.
my dad's easier on me because I'm a girl. And I think he's
Mm,
harder on my brother because he has like certain male expectations of him. Of like also my brother's like the eldest son. And so my dad like wants him to act like a guy, like act like a man and like
that makes sense. And talking about attachment styles, like in my psych class too, we learned that like attachment style, I think, is like the only thing that really determines it. The main factor is like how you were raised. Is like the
oh
parenting. And
but
that's like when you're literally like a baby, like when you come out of the womb, like for starting from there, like that's when your attachment starts. Like
oh
skin and
Ooh,
stuff, like skin to
that's not
skin
good.
different when you have a baby. Like you're supposed to go skin to skin when you have a baby in the
Uh-huh.
hospitals, like deepen the bond and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's like, who knows if her parents did that? Like,
That
like
like
oh,
scares me to be a parent. I want
yeah,
to be a parent, but I'm like, what if I up my
that's
baby,
crazy.
guys?
right?
Like
Like just
You
on
fuck up from
accident.
day one.
just like it's like like I didn't give you like a hug the first instant you exited my womb, and then I'm suddenly like you're a
Yeah.
psycho.
Oh my
Like
God. The
I think
blatant
my
attachment
mom like went to
style.
work like for both of me and my sister like almost like immediately after having us. And like so
mm,
like there's the what's it called? And I think like when your baby's first born, like that's like one of the most critical periods like
yeah, no,
they're
like I hear
born
that
because
all
you
the
have to be like,
time.
who's mom? Like who's mom?
Yeah. That
Yeah, that's why I like
scares
brought up
me.
parenting because
No, I also
yeah.
like hear about like when you're even like in the womb, when they like play stuff for you to listen to, or like they can tell if you're like something good's happening to you, like if you're fighting, like it's like, oh, your child can hear you fight. And I'm like, that's
That's crazy. That's like a
crazy.
lot of
Like,
pressure.
Yeah, no, that's like a lot
yeah.
of pressure.
But then you can't get stressed about the pressure because then you raise your cortisol
Oh
levels
my
and then that's
God.
bad for the
Right.
baby.
No,
So
literally.
like
You're literally,
Bruh.
just don't up. Like
yeah.
mm.
So scary.
Wow.
Also, no sushi when you're pregnant.
I know.
That
Well, like
sucks.
I hear that it's kind of allowed depending on the OBGYN you go to, because in the US, sushi's like flash frozen here to eliminate parasites, and that's one of like the top concerns. But these
Mm,
days it's like mercury content that's the problem, and like lots of commercial fishing, it's like gotten
yeah.
higher. So I'll just find an OBGYN that lets me eat sushi. If I'm gonna be calm and happy for 9 months,
I'm
I'm
gonna be so, oh my gosh. I feel like this was like a good tying, like mental health, Asians love.
I feel like we always default to talking about parents
Yeah.
and
It always
like in
comes
all
back
of
to
these
parents.
conversations because
That's
Oh,
the
like
underlying
yeah.
theme.
because they're too important like or
Oh,
at
Yeah.
least like
From day one in the
yeah from
womb. That's when it
my only
starts.
real day ones like I guess my older brother, but if you're the elder one then like your parents are your day ones.
yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know. I also like I feel bad when I have these conversations because then it feels like I'm criticizing my parents, I
Yeah,
think.
no,
And
right.
I feel like, they did the best with what they've had. Like they obviously weren't raised under the greatest circumstances a lot of the time. They're also immigrants themselves. Like they were under like a lot of stress when I was growing up. But like now that they're like much more like financially well off, I'm like, guys, why can't we have a normal conversation? Like,
Why
Yeah.
can't we just get
what if?
along?
Like you were busy then, but like we're adults now. Maybe I should try drinking with my parents,
It definitely like breaks some kind of barrier.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like tying that into the CultivAsian event that we had,
Oh,
we had a
dealing with
screening
dad.
we had a screening for this movie called
Yeah.
Dealing with Dad, which is about a dad that has depression, and the three children converged back at the family house to like work on those issues. And I feel like they all dealt with their dad in different ways. And like the girl, the oldest child, was very type A, OCD, and that kind of stems from being pushed by her parents. And then there was Roy and Nora. Help me out. Who's the last guy? Roy and the youngest
Larry. It
guy?
was Larry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But like it was really interesting to see how the movie portrayed the three children of this one family having experienced this like not great home environment, and how that developed them into different ways.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like strange, right? Because we want to say that it's all like up to our parents, but yet these three children dealt with it, with what they experienced, in like very different ways, and came out like
Yeah.
very, very different ways.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like my parents talk about like me and my brother being really different all the time. Because not only are we like personality wise, I feel like very different, we're also like physically super different. But like he's much less like affectionate than I am, and like I don't want to say more whiny, but he is whinier. He also spends more money than I do. Like I don't know, like we just have like weird like differences and became like very different people. And I've always been like, I don't get that. Like we were raised pretty much under the same like standards. Do you guys feel really different from your siblings? Is it like a gender difference? Because I mean, like,
I'm like both my sister and I, it's just two of us. I feel like we're pretty similar. Like, I don't know. I feel like her and I are very similar in how we like view things, how we feel about certain things. So yeah, and I don't know if it's like just because of gender differences though, because I only have a sister.
Me and my sister are like polar opposites. I don't know
oh,
why.
Oh,
Um, it might have to do with like the first 3 years of each of our lives were super different, I think.
are you younger or is she?
I'm
Oh wait, yeah,
younger.
you're younger.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like we're born in different states and we're only 3 years
oh,
apart. And then we moved to a different state when I was 2. Um, I honestly think that my parents just like were like the only Asians, so they just got together because they met in South Dakota. So I think they're just
South
like,
Dakota, that is the like most.
yeah. And they had my sister in Nebraska.
oh my God.
They
Where were
had
you
me in
Oh,
born?
so
Michigan.
like you're from the South.
Well, I'm from Michigan. Well, I was born in Michigan,
Oh.
but then
Interesting.
we've been in Delaware for like almost 20 years. No,
Um,
not 20 years, like 15 years.
I'm a California Asian. I'm one
Me
of those.
too.
I could never
There,
be you guys.
I've I know lots of Asians.
Yeah. I know. I like, I don't know why we're so different though, but we're very different. Like she's like a granny. She's like 20, she's only 24, but she acts like she's 50.
It's the Michigan air. It's
Yeah.
different. You were given different water as a
Something. But
baby
she
and
she
it
did tell me that
changed.
it's probably also just like how I grew up because she was like she had to like watch me like more than my mom when we were growing up, you
Mm,
know? So then she's probably like that's why she's probably like 50, like acts 50.
That's very interesting because my sister and I are also 3 years apart, but I'm
Mhm.
older.
Oh, I can tell you're
Like,
older for sure.
yeah.
but like
You
I
do give off
don't.
older sister.
Oh, really? Okay.
Definitely.
But
But I
like
would have said
I
that
don't
Abby's an
feel
older
like a
sister too.
grandma to. But yeah, I would have said you're an older sister,
You would have said I
Abbie.
was?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have said you were an
Oh,
older
that's
sister. And
surprising.
you give the vibe of somebody that has a little brother who's like 10.
I wish I
Like
had a brother. I wish I had a little
I
brother.
always wanted a little sister. I also
No,
always wanted an older sister. I really wanted an older sister but I
me
had
too.
an
I
older
want an older
brother.
sister.
Yeah, having like an older
It's
sister
so no, I'm
seems
so
so
glad I'm an older
nice.
sister. And she did say like she said that when she was 7, like that's when she like gained consciousness. You know, like when you gain
Oh,
Okay.
she said that she was
She
like
became
7
aware.
and she was in our like apartment in Michigan and she just felt like guilty. Like she
oh,
just felt guilty that like she had this house and like this bed and
Oh my
like
God.
and she was like 7 and I'm like,
That's
girl,
crazy to feel at
literally
7.
like 27
wait.
and a 7-year-old
Guilt
body.
as the first reaction is so sad, but
I
I relate to
know.
that. I
At
think
So
7.
my
sad.
entire childhood I felt really guilty about
Yeah.
like my parents and like their circumstances and how like their life is harder because I exist. And
Yeah.
it's like hard to reconcile that like, oh, like I didn't choose to be alive, like they chose to have me. I'm also a second born child, so like they already knew what they were getting into. So
Yeah.
like I was like a choice. Like
Yeah. A lot
so
of older
I don't know.
sisters I know though, like or a lot of older siblings in general, once they get into a relationship, it's like solid and it's like very like they
That's
move.
That's
hope.
how I feel about my brothers. Like
Yeah.
my brother is not yet engaged, but planning to propose to his girlfriend of like 3 years now. And I'm like, okay, that's not fair. What about me? Like, when will it be
Right.
my turn? He met her in like sophomore year, and I was like,
Of
guys,
college.
clock's ticking, so next year, right?
My sister
Like,
also met
now's my
her
chance.
fiance sophomore year of college.
Bruh, I'm literally a
Okay,
senior. About to be a
I
senior.
know, I'm about to be a
sophomore
senior
year's
too.
sophomore
Yeah.
year's my year. Are you
No, I already
confused
passed the
now?
deadline. Like I'm
Yeah, me
just
too. I'm like, I'm done now.
yeah, I'm like,
I give
okay,
up.
maybe in grad school. I don't know.
Like, it's
I feel
whatever
like
now.
I feel like it's hard to like look for a relationship, especially if we have all these wonky attachment styles. Like if you won't date anybody that's secure, if
Yeah.
I feel like I have to work on myself before I can date anybody, like it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
My sister was like, I need to find someone who has like the same issues as you, but like you're both changed.
I I worry about that though. I feel like if I find somebody with the same issues as me, we're both gonna hella exacerbate each other's like problems because then we won't like then we'll both be anxious all the time.
Or not the same issues, but like she's like, you need to find someone who didn't have a normal childhood.
Did you get
I
locked
can
out of the house
agree.
first date? Like, were you locked out of the house? Did your parents ever threaten to abandon you? I think you're my
So
soulmate.
funny.
Like,
Yeah,
hmm.
all roads lead back to the parents.
Yep.
But then it's like your parents' parents and like your
Yeah.
grandparents.
It's just generational trauma.
No, generational.
I can like see the way my grandparents act having like influenced my parents because I
Oh,
used to like live with my grandparents when I was
yeah.
younger, and so like I've seen the way they both act. I also like my grandparents got a lot softer as they got older, which I think is like typical of Asian grandparents because your parents are harsh and your grandparents are super easy. Like, and I swear to God, like it generated beef with my dad the way like his father treated me versus the way he got treated by his father. Because his
Yeah.
father was like a mean ass military man who like hit my dad. And then for me, he was like, oh, do you want to draw pictures?
Yeah.
Do you
I
wanna,
got all
like,
this food for you, all these snacks.
no, do you want sugar? Do you feel like doing your homework? Like, he was like
My
super like soft.
sister said that I don't even know how this is related, but my sister said that she like dreams like weekly about my grandma calling her fat at her wedding. Like, and she probably will.
No.
No, no, my grandma's like that. My
Yeah. And
grandma
my
looked at
sister's engagement pics, like when they came out, the only thing my mom said was like, you have a double chin in this. Like that's the only thing she said about them. And I was like,
that's
girl.
awful.
Because
No,
I
I
saw them and I
don't.
like like I was like emotional seeing them, you know.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I saw my grandma
breaking
for dinner.
cycles.
She looked at me and my mom and she was like, oh, 要减肥.
Yeah.
It was basically like, you guys need to go on a diet. I was like, love you.
Yeah, love you.
It's
Yeah.
like you play mahjong on your iPad all day, okay? Like I don't want to hear it right now. Like
We'll break the cycles. We're aware.
yeah, we're gonna be cycle breakers,
We're
but first I
aware.
have to
Yeah.
change my attachment style apparently
The
because this
weight
is
of
not good.
the generational weight on our shoulders.
Yeah, we got this, guy.
Yeah.
It's easy. Don't hit your kids. Do skin to skin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Marry someone you love.
Yeah.
Oh, easy, bro. Marry someone you
can't
love
believe
who
like
loves you back.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got this.
Yeah. This is a good episode, I think. Ethan's quiet.
I know Ethan's been quiet. I think Ethan's just tired.
No, I just there's too much for me to unpack in one episode.
Gonna do like multiple
I'd,
parts
yeah, I'd rather
on
save
this.
it for like 20 years from now when they're dead.
20 years from now. When they're
JK.
dead. Yeah, I do like I was like, mom and dad, if you're watching this, like don't like I love you guys. I'm not into Minecraft roleplay anymore. I don't know. Like it's we can be chill. We should get drunk, mom and dad. If you guys are watching this, maybe we'll have a good talk then. Actually, I don't think it'll ever happen because my dad refuses to drink alcohol.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, my
Well,
mom
my
will
parents
on
won't even let me
Good.
occasion.
drink.
My
So
mom's into weed, but
Really?
my dad's very say no to drugs. My mom's a very modern
That's
American
crazy. I've
woman.
never
that
told
is
my parents
crazy.
that like I smoke.
No,
I mean,
my mom, like since I was like 13, my mom like every day was like, "Do you want to try? Like I have gummies. Like, do you want to try gummies?"
oh
And
my
I was like
God.
out here like doing the dare program against my own mom, being like, "No, I'm too young. We don't know what will happen to me. We can't." Like I was out here being like, "I say no to drugs." And my mom was like, "You're so lame. I guess more gummies for me." Like,
Yeah.
would you smoke with your family, Chelsea?
My parents won't even let me drink. Like even when I turned 21, they're like, no alcohol.
Mm.
So they would never let me drink with them. They don't even actually no, my dad drinks, my mom does not drink. So I wish I could just like drink with my parents like that. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be fun.
The only reason they let
But
me
they're
is
like, no. I think if they found out that I have drinking before, like they would probably pull me out of school. Like
really?
yeah, like make me move back home, go to school closer to home. Like they would genuinely do
That's
that.
so funny.
Yeah, I could see that being
I think
possible.
my parents came with the expectation that I would drink, and in fact, I think my mom's disappointed that I don't drink very often, like that, like I
Oh,
really like that I stick to my studies. She reversed psychology me. She didn't want a party kid, and she didn't get one. Like
my
by
mom
like
like
encouraging me. I don't know, like my parents just don't really drink. My mom just does edibles and
yeah.
watches like
It was
medical
actually
dramas.
fun because I like got my parents into tequila and like the lime shots, the lime and salt shots, like with the salt and I got them into it. And then over Thanksgiving, like none of my extended family is like in the States. So like for all the holidays, we just get together with like our Asian church friends. And like
Oh,
my mom was asking them to like film her like taking tequila shots. And she
That's
bought
so
like the
funny.
Patron value pack from Costco and I had like four like tequila.
wait, that's kind of she got
It
an
was
eight.
fun. We got
That's kind
so
of
drunk
funny.
That's
in
so
Thanksgiving
fun.
and like did karaoke. It was actually like really fun.
That is fun.
Yeah. And like all our like church communities like similar. So like I think it
Mm.
was a great time for everyone.
Wow.
Sure. I love the fact that your mom must be like, yeah, film me, like, and then
Yeah.
like throw it. Like
Oh wait,
that's
one thing we didn't talk about was like when Marcel was here, I was gonna ask about like cultural differences because I feel like dating like
oh
outside of your race, like
yeah.
it's such a big difference.
I mean, are your parents like race sensitive? Like,
Race sensitive. They say they're not, but obviously like they would accept it more if I brought back an Asian dude, you know.
mm,
Like they definitely have thoughts for sure.
does it
Yeah.
have to be a Chinese person or are you allowed to branch out? Because
No, I'm allowed to date anyone, any
um
man, basically any race, but like they
yeah.
definitely think things,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean like my parents are like not like racist, like they don't have like those things. My grandparents on the other hand,
Oh
like
yeah.
my grandparents are like oh, stick to like East Asia, I feel like kind of people. They're like, oh, like Chinese, Taiwanese, Japan, Koreans, but like they also are like maybe no Southeast Asians. I think I know they like used to have that perspective, and I was like, guys, that's not okay.
No.
Like,
It'll be crazy though, because like if we do like end up with someone who's not like Asian, probably like literally the first ever in
yeah,
our family history.
In your
Like,
yeah.
bloodline.
yeah, in the
Yeah,
blood.
I'm gonna taint the bloodline, but it's not my problem
In the
because I'm not the
bloodline.
eldest son, so I don't have a bloodline to maintain.
Kids aren't
So,
getting my last name anyways,
well, my
so
brother's
That's
tainting the
true.
bloodline. He's marrying a white girl,
yeah.
so it's already over. It's already over. So they need to chill. Like,
Oh, he married a white girl?
um,
Or he's
they're
going
not
to?
married yet, but like,
Right.
yeah, like I don't like, I was like, well, I heard my grandparents speculating about who me and my brother would date when we were younger. Like, I think I was like asleep in the car and then I woke up and my grandparents were like, I think Nathan's my brother. I think Nathan will marry a white girl for sure. He's not Chinese
They
enough at
manifested it.
all. It wouldn't work. And then they're like, Nora, I could see with the Asian man, but maybe we'll find out more when she's older. And I remember listening to them being like, guys, that's crazy. They were like
I've like
taking
never
bets.
been with an Asian.
Really?
Yeah. My first like boyfriend was Asian, but
Mm,
besides that, like not at all. Like since I've come to college, I haven't talked to any Asian dude.
wow. I feel like I'm subtly preferential to their preferences
To
in a
their
way that like,
preference. Oh, to
yeah,
your
like,
parents.
because like I like to get my family's approval. Big surprise.
Yeah.
So like I feel like subconsciously they have like an expectation of me and like I want to meet their expectations subconsciously about a partner, especially with my grandparents because I'm their favorite, so I like to stay their favorite.
Yeah. It's not that I don't like Asian guys, it's just like I don't know.
I mean, I feel like even if you didn't, like that's fine, you know? Like
Yeah.
everybody has a
Well, I
preference,
feel like
but
they don't
like
like me.
oh, well, I feel like yeah, certain
Oh,
Asian guys are like that too. I feel like lots of Asian guys like a particular image of an Asian woman that like
mhm.
a lot of like Asian American women
Do
don't
not meet.
necessarily agree with. Like, you know, like a lot of people have an expectation of an Asian girl, like as a more like
Yeah.
demure, quiet, Oriental wife ass image,
Yeah.
like that like I definitely don't meet. So I'm like,
It like checks out.
yeah. So I feel like on a basis that makes me unappealing to all races, but it's okay. Well, it's not my sophomore year yet. Next year for sure,
Next year.
guys.
Also,
Next
like
year for
Your
courting,
time will be
courting
sure.
is
next
not
year.
big in Asian culture, really.
Yeah,
Like
no, it
getting them
isn't.
flowers, like
Well, Chelsea, you can tell me this wrong. I heard this was a thing in Filipino culture, but like, I'm not like, do you think that
actually, I feel like
whatever?
Filipinos do
Courting?
yeah, courting.
Yeah,
I
I feel like
like
that. I heard that like it's kind of like a traditional thing that doesn't always happen
I have
nowadays, but
no idea, honestly. Like I know my
I
parents
feel
like
like
talk about it sometimes. Like they mention like jokingly, oh, is that guy courting you? Like they say things like that. I didn't know it was like a cultural. I didn't know it was
yeah.
big in like the
Well,
Philippines
I saw
though.
like a TikTok, okay? Like I'm
Oh,
not I saw a TikTok where it's like I went back home to the Philippines and this guy tried to like court me and I was like,
I
wait, that's
will
a
say
thing?
though,
Like,
I think
okay,
like a lot of
Bridgerton.
I
Sorry.
think like a lot of Filipinos are very like romance oriented. Like
Yes.
they're really very like hopeless romantics. I think that's
Yes.
I
where I
love
get it
So
from.
that.
romantic. And I love
Wait, I
But
love
then
that.
that.
I don't know a lot of Filipino parents that are in love like that. So
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
just like,
Well, I
yeah,
feel like the more you idealize romance in your life, the harder it is to find
that
that romance in the way that you
that's
want it.
true.
So
East
sometimes
Asian.
it's tough like that. Sometimes it's tough like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we like they just were romantic. Like obviously easier said than done.
Yeah, I think I just grew up with the expectation that I wouldn't find like a princess fairy tale match. Like,
Yeah, I never had that expectation either.
I
yeah,
like
like I
had that
think,
expectation and now it's like ruined. Like
Reality
you
settles
have a whole
in.
year left, Chelsea. You have plenty of time to find your
1 year.
Filipino
yeah, yeah.
man. He's gonna
I mean,
sing
I feel like
Lemonade to you.
I have, I feel like I have like such low expectations. I'm like, just like don't be a psycho and like love me optional. Like, but like I would settle for
Option.
like a strong like we don't have to be
No.
crazy. Be like a good dad. Like I don't know. Which is weird because my parents do love each other. Like my parents are very romantic and like love each other a lot, but I still don't like think that'll ever happen for me.
Yeah. I think like I still think like true love is fake. And like growing up, I thought it was like fake. Like and me and my friends
Well,
talk this a lot too, because like if their like parents are like a lot like if some of my white friends, because I feel like the only parents I've seen who are like affectionate are white, like super affectionate. like grab each other's ass like in front of you.
Oh, like guys in a locker room. Well, this is why I thought my brother was gay, like all his life. Like growing up, I was like, you're way too intimate with like your guy best friend. But okay, Nathan, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, would your parents accept you if you were gay? So it's a loaded question, but would
No.
you? No,
No.
no
And my
across
parents
the
are like, it's
board.
okay as long as it's not you.
Yeah, that's what my parents say too.
I'm like, so it's not okay then. What? It makes no sense.
That's crazy. No. Okay, my parents, modern take, they're okay with being.
They're okay with gay.
You're allowed to be
Gay.
gay. Yeah, they
Wow.
said gay is okay. Well, my mom's like best friend is a gay man, and they're like my uncles. So like
Oh, that's cute.
they're gay friendly, and I grew up with them, so they kind of gotta be gay friendly.
Statistically, someone in your family has to be gay,
I know, right?
right? Like
Well,
extended family even. But I
oh,
had no one who's like openly gay in my
I'm like
extended
sure
extended family.
somebody in like extended family is gay, but just like wasn't allowed to be and just settled.
Oh,
Which I
my
think is
cousin's definitely
sad, but
lesbian. She
yeah,
definitely
like
is.
or like you like met the aunt that never married, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, okay, like
My
okay.
cousin's so like is into girls for sure. She like has like short ass hair, like
Oh,
never dresses like she just definitely is. Like not even like sit like the stereotype.
Who wants to
And then my
answer?
mom's like, she changed, like she wore a dress to like a party or something.
that's so yeah.
And I'm like, no,
No,
mom, she definitely still like likes women.
Who wants to
I
answer
mean,
what questions you have?
I know what question.
no. I just like
Did you guys forget your question?
Marcelo, are your parents okay that you're gay?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Really
Oh,
all
Did you have to like work on it, or was it like always like it's okay?
a lot. I had to work on it like it was a fucking class.
And then his brother has it so easy now.
Yeah.
Is your brother gay?
Yeah, he's also gay.
Oh,
In-
nice. Lucky him. You did all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did all the destigmatizing and then his brother.
I know that's crazy.
It was actually the other way around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Being gay for my little brother we're 7 years apart, and it was a lot more important to his identity, so he came out first.
Oh, wait, so
Oh,
your parents didn't know that you were gay until after your brother came out?
Well, how much can they say they don't know?
Yeah.
But
I guess
Wow.
my brother kind of did that. My brother, like my parents speculated that he was gay when he was younger, and so they were like learning to accept it preemptively, I think.
I feel like they would do that. Yeah. But yeah, no, my parents were not accepting. They were, Catholic, very hard Catholic.
Immigrant parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Catholics. I mean, no hate to Catholicism, but not very
Okay,
gay
I'm also
friendly.
Catholic. I understand.
Yeah.